So you're asking why has the world lost its magic for us, right, Geeta?
Mm-hmm.
So
No, yeah. Is it two different? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, uh, basically, if we could look at the world like how a newborn child looks at the world, where the child has not yet made any judgments, any impressions, nothing, and that would be the best thing, isn't it? But
Mm-hmm.
over a period of time, we have sometimes developed a certain, I would say, even negative attitude towards the world, especially I think now with all of you guys, what you're going through with all your government and everything out there. It's like, oh my God, what did we do? But we know from the past experience that it doesn't last long. Maybe this is something that, I have to go through for a short while. So that's what I mean by the world has lost its magic, you know. There will be, again, it all depends upon how we are looking at the world and how we are looking at this earth, but we are not looking at the totality of the cosmos, you know. Um, so we have to progress in such a way that we are able to see beyond all this. Literally, imagine somebody like Sunitha Williams, right, who is now in space. How is she looking at the whole world? She's there for 6 months or almost 6 months or more than that. You know, what is she seeing all the time? Does she get CNN? Does she get, the news? So that's the point is, we look at a few negative people and sometimes read something on our WhatsApp or internet, and then we think this is the whole world. And that is what we mean
So,
by,
so don't you think it's just in our mind how we look at it?
that's why we
See, you
have to
said
expand
we
the
look
mind.
at it in. Some people will look at the world like very good, flowery, very nice, and we may look at it in a different way. So, isn't it in our mind?
It is in the mind. It is totally in the mind. That is where ultimately what is our sadhana. I was reading, and maybe next time I'll probably share. I know I have one more assignment that I need to do, which is handle the purity of mind. How do we get to purity of mind? But one more thing is one of the big sadhanas for us. Actually, how many of you have listened to this person called Simon Sinek? Simon Sinek, he did a wonderful TED talk long time ago, and after that I've been following him. But the most important thing, what I'm coming to from his thing, and I'm only reason I bring his thing is because you live in America, and Simon Sinek is from America. He talks about goals. Okay, uh, our mind needs to be convinced of only one goal. And what is that goal? Is that goal is that this entire world is nothing but Ishvara. So, Ishvara, help me find you, not just find you in this world, find that this entire world is Ishvara. That is actually our goal. But for many of us, we do not even we don't even make goals, first of all. Even if we make goals, they're very finite in number. And this is why I am digressing a little bit from 11th chapter here, but since you asked the question, and it is somewhat related, when we think about goals, who comes to your mind as people who make a goal and they try to achieve it? What do you think?
Realized person.
No, think about in the world. Let's forget about realized people for now.
Mhm. Mature.
Mature people, um, but
Mhm.
do they really achieve it? See, the point is, we all can set up a goal in, let's say it is Ambani also, okay? Dhirubhai Ambani, when he did the empire, when he started off, did he really think he was going to build such an empire and his son is going to be in the top 10 of the richest people or whatever? No. But when we think about goal setting, we think about mostly Olympians, Olympic people, because they are so focused, they try to achieve those goals, right? Like, let's take even the our Michigan guy, Michael Phelps. Okay. Michael Phelps was really one of those guys who achieved so much in a short period of time. But look where he is. What I mean by that is, after achieving all these goals, he got into a state of depression. Okay. There are many of these Olympic people who we think are, our biggest role models. They are trying to achieve the finite goals. And this is what I really struck me with Simon Sinek's reel that I listened to recently, we are putting finite goals, and we do achieve those finite goals. This is Olympians I'm saying, okay? Yet they they get depressed, they lose sight of what next, and they don't know there is something called as an infinite goal. And that infinite goal is really the goal for people, of human beings who are the most evolved of species. And yet we are not, that's where the realized people, to your question, Geeta, is the realized people know that infinity is my goal. And they achieve it? They'll never say they achieved it, because the minute you say, I achieved it, you have lost.
I, mm,
Okay. There is no I.
mm,
It's like, again, this example we always give about putting 1 teaspoon of salt in water in a cup versus putting that same 1 teaspoon of salt in a bucket versus that same 1 teaspoon of salt in an ocean. Can we even find any particle of that salt in the ocean? That's what we mean by dissolution of the I when I say that I have reached my goal. Correct? So that's the problem. Okay.
okay.
So world has lost its magic. Is we the more and more we are going towards infinite goals, the more and more the world continues to amaze us. And that is why in the shlokas 15 to 22, where Arjuna is speaking out now, you see that the very first emotion that he goes through is that ascharyam, and when Suvarna brought this example of Niagara Falls, why do we think Niagara Falls is so wonderful? Because we are able to dissolve our mind for one moment of that thing, and I see this huge vastness, and I have this vismayam, that's what he says. Vismayam is the word that he uses in the very first shloka there, and he says, Sarvan Devan Sitha Bhutas Vishesha Sangan. He sees all these bhutas, the living beings, everyone in that huge, let's say this big waterfall, the Niagara Falls, kind of thing. So this whole thing is what Arjuna is seeing. He sees that wonderment, you know, and that is why this Arjuna's reaction, after Sanjaya finishes speaking, Arjuna is taking over, and he starts to explain this Vishwarupa because he's going through so much amount of emotions. After this Ashcharyam, he goes through, um, he starts to, I mean, it sounds like he's blabbering, but actually he's really explaining that through that wonder that he's explaining, that is what we need to see the world also, in and through everything. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so wonderful, Gurudev in one of his lectures, he says, in when he came to America, he found that everyone would, of course, even now we use this word awesome, everything is awesome. After the word awesome, there is nothing more beyond that, right? But in this Gita, when the shlokas, he brings so many beautiful expressions. So that is where, he says, Pashyami devam stava deva dehe, sarvam sata bhuta vishesha sangan, brahmanamisham kamalasanastam, rishimshcha sarvan, uragamshcha divyan. he sees, I mean, I'm seeing the gods and the rishis, all of them, you know, I'm seeing here, and this multitudes of living beings. I'm seeing microorganisms, macroorganisms, you know, big, even unimaginable bhutas. All these I'm able to see in this here. So that is the wonderment, you know. He's seeing not just this loka in which we are in, but he's able to see Bhuvar, Suvar, all the lokas. And this Uragan basically refers to snake. And where do snakes live? Mostly below the earth, right? So that's the whole thing that he's trying to show here. And then in Shloka 16, you know, this Vishwarupa Darshanam is actually not an just an extraordinary vision, but it is our attitude towards it, and that is where he says this. You know, um, does this mean, like, when you see the words that is described here? You know, and that's what I mean by blabbering. You know, Arjuna is saying like numerous arms here. Aneka bahu udara vaktra netram, and then he sees, you know, each one of them seems to have infinite form. There is no start, end, or whatever. Everything seems to just jumble over each other, you know. So uh, again, it's I mean, I don't know whether anyone, I know Kamala Hassan and all of them have produced these movies called Vishwarupam and all that, but I don't know if they're able to, even whether we can through 3D movies also be able to see all this, you know. So uh, literally Krishna is giving Arjuna that kind of an eye, you know, which is Pashyami Tvam Sarvata Ananta Rupam Nantam na Madhyam na Tava Adim Pashyami Punastava then Pashyami He Vishweshwara. You know, he's trying to show that there is no middle, there is no end, there is no beginning. All this is just huge Vishwarupam, which for us it's very difficult because we have conditioned our mind more and more to look at only things which I can feel, touch, everything through our physical eyes. But like we talked about last time also, our vision, eye vision can is limited to only the visible region and maybe a little bit of infrared and UV lights. But the other range, there is so much going on actually, which we can't see, but we can only imagine, right? So um, again, in Bhagavad Gita, we are hearing about this. Can we ever get to that state of in material science where we develop a microscope or anything where we can see beyond all this? So Krishna is really giving Arjuna that vision by which he can expand his intellect to see beyond what we normally see in the world. So then in Shloka 17, last time we started to talk about it, this is where, you know, our internet was so spotty. So so Arjuna realizes that he could see divinity not in, not in his form, but also in the material. So in this next shloka coming up, you see that, you know, he talks about how um, Krishna's Krishna is nothing but Vishnu's avatar, right? So you see the description of the Vishnu avatar where we see the mace, the discus, which basically you would say, you know, why are all our gods having such weapons of destruction? But there is a great symbolism to all this. You know, the symbolism is they represent spiritual discipline. They also make us aware of, I would say, the time element, you know, the time element which is really going away from us because of the destruction. So all this you will see coming up in the shloka, and also the conch. Lord Vishnu is one of the, one of his instruments is a conch, which symbolizes essentially a call for action, you know, um, like Swami Vivekananda's words, right? Uttishtata Jagrata, arise, awake, and stop not until your goal is reached. So, all these things. So, Arjuna sees all this and he sees this crown of Vishnu. And then he sees this blazing light of sun. All this he sees in the shloka here. So let's chant it. Kiritinam gadinam chakrinam cha. Kiritinam gadinam chakrinam cha. Tejo rashim sarvato deeptimantam. Tejo rashim sarvato deeptimantam. Pashyami tvam durnirekshyam samantat. Pashyami tvam durnirekshyam samantat. Deeptanalarkadyutim aprameyam. Deeptanalarkadyutim aprameyam. So he says, Kiritinam. You've got thousands of kiritam. Kiritam means thousands. Now, how come Ishvara has this kiritinam? How this amount of heads. So basically, again, in Vishnu Sahasranam, Purusha Suktam, Sahasra Shisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, so basically trying to show that, all these are nothing but forms of the ultimate Lord. So Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrinam, Cha, Tejo Rashim. You have the abundance of brilliance. Sarvataha Deeptimantam, glowing everywhere. I'm seeing that. Pashyami, Aham Pashyami. What am I seeing? I'm seeing you, Tvam, Durnirikshyam. Durnirikshyam, which is very difficult, you know, very difficult to perceive with just an eye. Now Arjuna is really appreciating this vision that has been given to him. And he sees Samantat from all sides. This deep, the Anala means fire. So deep, the Anala, which is blazing fire, or Yutim Aprameyam. So I'm totally unable to even comprehend what is going on. So Deeptimantam shining in all directions and everything. And so he's trying to see how, this brilliance of that Lord Vishnu, which, which is everywhere. So Tejo Rashim Sarvato Deeptimantam. And this is just to show that even, and previously also he talked about the brilliance of the sun. And here he's trying to again show that, how this greatness of Vishnu he's able to see the Lord everywhere in this form. Okay. So this coming shloka 18, now that you can imagine Vishnu with this crowns and this brilliance, so the coming shloka is actually a blend of uh, us having that upasana shakti, Upasana means having the picture of the idol in front of you and meditating upon that Lord. So it's a beautiful blend of upasana and also jnana, you know. So Arjuna is praising that cosmic form, and he's also trying to show his that he's now understanding the relationship of he as a jiva with that Ishvara. You know, it's almost like, finally, when you go to this ocean, the wave finally is saying that, oh, okay, now I understand I'm also water and I'm in water, so that part of it he is trying to bring about in this next shloka here. So, Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam. Tvamasya vishvasya param nidhanam. Tvamasya vishvasya param nidhanam. Tvamavyaya shashvata dharma goptaha. Tvamavyaya shashvata dharma goptaha. Sanatanastvam purusho mato me. Sanatanastvam purusho mato me. So he's saying, Tvam, referring to again Krishna in the as Lord Vishnu, you are Aksharam. Aksharam is a beautiful again, description of that ultimate consciousness or reality, imperishable. And you are Paramam, Tvam Aksharam Paramam Veditavyam. Everybody has to know. So when I was talking about infinite goal, uh, we all need to have this infinite goal as understanding ultimately there is nothing else in this universe but that Aksharam, Paramam, Aksharam and Paramam. And Asya, this, so he's saying of this universe, you are the most perfect repository. Nidhanam. We'll actually talk a little bit about this word Nidhanam. Nidhanam means the substratum, the foundation. So he's saying ultimately you are the foundation of everything. This is again a beautiful thing to look at in terms of security and insecurity. For us, our security today is our bank balance, our house, our people, correct? These are the three main things which is really our nidhanam, our foundation, our substratum. However, what here he's showing, see, Arjuna is now um, at a stage where he's able to say that ultimately you are the nidhanam for me, you know. Tvam asya vishwasya nidhanam. You are the substratum of this entire universe. And then tvam avyayaha, shashvata dharma goptaha. So we today again in this again this comparison for security and insecurity. Today we look at security as being in the hands of the government, the police, the judges, the lawyers, right? But here he's saying you are the dharma. Tvam avyayaha shashvata dharma. Like now in CVV, in Chinmay Vishwavidyapit, all our students have to go through one course. I want to tell you that I was just reminded of that just now as I was talking to, as I'm explaining here. The second course is a course which is on unique paradigms of knowledge, written by Swami Tejomananji and Swami Surupananda. Okay, they have written the book, and this is a mandatory text for all our students. And in that, in the very first chapter itself, Swami Tejomananda talks about dharma. So when he says here, Shashvata dharma, it's such a potent word. If I understand that in its entirety, um, I will be, what should I say? I'll be more in tune with everything that is happening in terms of dharma and adharma, My own decisions on how I'm doing things will be based on dharma, dharmic action. So here he's praising, he's talking about that Ishvara, that Vishnu, as the Nidhanam for as and then Shashvata Dharma for that ultimate eternal law. You are the protector of, and you are Sanatana, you are eternal. So Tvam, you are that eternal person. This is my conviction. So where has, Arjuna has gone a long way in his understanding of Lord Krishna, not just Lord Krishna, but really of this, what is this world? This world is nothing but a manifestation of Vishnu. But not only that, this manifestation is supreme, this manifestation is imperishable, this manifestation is eternal, this manifestation is the law. So much packed into this one shloka, So that is why I said earlier, it's a beautiful blend of not just the jnanam part of it, which is coming out here, but also something which I had to meditate upon. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam, tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam, tvam avyaya shashvata dharma guptaha, sanatanastvam purusho matome. You know, any thoughts or questions? So it basically, yeah, go ahead, Suvarna.
Can we go to verse 17, the meaning? So
Mm-hmm.
from 17 and 18, over here, I'm just trying to think from Saguna Brahman, or is it Nirguna
Yes,
Brahman?
very
How is he, what form is he talking about over
here
here?
it is Saguna Brahman. Okay.
Oh,
In
okay.
17, it is the Saguna Brahman. But when he is coming to, uh, so uh, here this is the physical description. Okay. This is the physical description of, so, okay, when we say Saguna Brahman, we mean as that Ishvara with a form. When we say with a form, obviously we have to give all the physical description. But in its essence, it is Nirguna. So, therefore, in shloka number 18, he is actually going in. That is why I said it's a blend of upasana, which is I have to meditate upon uh, that nirguna form of Brahman. And in that nirguna form of Brahman is given beautiful, like the adjectives to describe that is given here by saying that, param and then aksharam, avyayam. All these are descriptions for that nirguna Brahman. But then that nirguna Brahman, how is the nirguna Brahman helping me? By being that giver of dharma, Shashvata dharma, and he's a protector, Goptaha. But then again, Sanatanam eternal refers to the Nirguna Brahman. Very good observation, you know.
Yeah, I was like, this is all Nirguna, but I was like, over there, that's why I wanted clarification just to make sure that I was thinking on the right.
You are on the right track. You are.
Thank you.
So that's why this one here, it's just Arjuna's reverence is just increased. He is now going beyond the form and he's able to explain or see beyond the Saguna aspect where he's saying this. And that's why, Veditavyam, which is to be known by all. And what is to be known is the fact that you are you have to know that it is beyond the form. That is what he's trying to say here. Okay, Veditvam Tvamasya Vishwasya Parama. You know, and you are the and so then Tvam Avyayaha, which is again the Nirguna, you are inexhaustible, you are Avyayaha meaning unchangeable. And what do we mean by unchangeable? What is it that really causes change for us? What do you think?
Time.
Time, exactly. So he is Kalatitaha. He is beyond time. Time is the only thing that changes things. And so in all this, actually, Arjuna is actually describing the Nirguna part of it. And of course, in Drigdarsha Vivek, not Drigdarsha Vivek, what did we do? When we were there, we came across so many different Amrita Bindu Upanishad, I think. In Amrita Bindu Upanishad and all that, so many different names. Nirguna, Nishka, Lalita Sahasranamam also, you have all these names, many, many names for the Nirguna Brahman. And so Tvamavyayaha, which we saw. Then Shashvata Dharma Goptaha Sanatanaha. Again, Gupta means protector, and he is the protector of everyone. There is no difference, and it's all about cosmic rhythm, harmony, everything. And everywhere, Sanatanaha, he's eternal. Everywhere you see, it's nothing but like Who Moved My Cheese, that book Who Moved My Cheese, where two of these rats are stuck in a huge mound of cheese. Everywhere they go, it's cheese-o-mayam. I'm sure if some ants gets into the cake and all that, they will just see sugar or sugar mayam. So everywhere you see only that. Geeta, I'm reminded of Alaska trip suddenly. I don't know why, but wherever we went, it was just, ice and snow and everything, beautiful sights. All these analogies and sights are there for us to keep reminding us about the greatness of Bhagwan and to bring that kind of a vision in everything we do, right? So now again, we are looking at some more nirguna aspects of that Bhagwan, you know. Uh, Again, Arjuna is trying his best to, in his wondrous state, he's explaining all this. Anadimadhyantamanantaviryam Anadimadhyantamanantaviryam Anantabahum Shashi Surya Netram Anantabahum Shashi Surya Netram Pashyami Tvam Deepta Hutashvatram Pashyami Tvam Deepta Hutashvatram Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam. So, Anadi Madhyantam. Adi, of course, means beginning. Madhyam means middle. And Antam means end. Right? So, Anadi Madhyantam means without any beginning, without any middle, without any end. So, so it is Adi Madhyanta Rahitam. Rahitam meaning which is without anything. So, indicating that here Bhagwan is a Lord of complete infinite power and also uh, that Anadi Virya Ananta Shakti, so which means that he has so much amount of the Shakti also. So that is Anadi Madhyantam, Anadi Viryam, then Ananta Bahum, infinite arms. Shashi, moon, Surya, Netra, which is sun, moon, and moon, sun, eyes. I'm able to see that, So he's saying, having innumerable arms, having the sun, moon as your eyes, I see you that way. Pashyami Tvam, Deepta Hutashva Vaktram. So I see you as a blazing fire coming out of your mouth. Swatejasa Vishwam Idam Tapantam. Your radiance is such that it just burns me. So just looking at Anantabahum. So Anantabahum means endless arms, endless hands. So it is not as if again, that there is one God with 1,000 hands and arms that is hanging on everywhere. This is just trying to show that everything is nothing but that Bhagwan, right? And then Shashi Surya Netram is just to say that, your eyes. He's trying to, the brilliance that we see from the sun and that which is reflected on the moon are nothing but the eyes of that Bhagwan. And it is because of that eyes that we are able to see everything. So again and again, and you see this glory of Surya being brought out so much, right? At sometime we probably should do this. What is the shloka on Surya? Um,
Aditya Hridayam?
I'm sorry?
Is it Aditya Hridayam?
Aditya Hridayam, exactly. Aditya Hridayam. At some point we should do that upasana of Aditya through the Aditya Hridayam. Each of the shlokas, it will be good to do sometime on Aditya Hridayam. I haven't heard anybody actually do a yajna on Aditya Hridayam, but that might be good for us because we are seeing the sun every day. We're taking sun for granted, I don't know how many more generations of us will have the sun in front of us. So, and next, Deepta Huta Chavaktram, So, Agni, Deepta Huta, Agni or the fire Devata. Agni Devata is the mouth of the Lord. That is what he's saying. Now, why do we say Agni is the mouth of the Lord? Because first is, the heat. So Agni Devata is uh, which is, uh, Agni is actually the presiding deity of the mouth for uh, talking, it is a Vacho Devata. So that is one reason. The second reason is that, the mouth swallows everything, right? Anything, whatever you put, it's a great swallower of everything what goes in. So Arjuna is saying, I'm looking at your mouth, which is nothing but fire. So Vaktram is mouth here, and Huta means fire, and Hutasha means Hutam Ashnati iti Huta. That is that which consumes all the oblations. So again, mouth is the one which swallows, and therefore he says, that is the two reasons here. So Swatejasa is the fiery mouth of the uh, Lord, and therefore, he's kind of frightened here, and he turns his eyes away. He closes his eyes because he's unable to really see this sight, which is so frightening here. And Satvajasa, so he's saying, it is full of heat, full of this radiation which is coming out, Svatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam, So we know this heat can, and of course, you have to come to India to really feel the Tapantam, pretty soon, or even now. Somebody was saying, like, Kottayam, which is only 2 hours from here, um, was considered to be one of the two places which was the hottest, like yesterday, So this heat kind of, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's kind of normal. All these things you kind of experience, the tapantam you feel because of this heat of the sun. Okay. Then shloka number 20, we move on to see how, literally, if you think about, in the beginning, we talked about the 4 phases that Arjuna goes through. And we are coming to this 4th phase, which is the transforming Vishnu Rupa, we call. So we'll chant this. Dhyava Prithivyori Mantaram hi Dhyava Prithivyorittamantram hi Vyaptam Tvayaiken Dishascha Sarvaha Vyaptam Tvayaiken Dishascha Sarvaha Drishvatvabhutam Rupamugram Tavedam Drishtvaadbhutam Rupamugram Tavedam Drishtvaadbhutam Rupamugram Tavedam Lokatrayam Pravyatitam Mahatman Lokatrayam Pravyatitam Mahatman. Okay. So in all the last 3 verses, what we saw, there was some amount of, especially the last one, 19th, we actually saw some amount of, like, a lot of heat and lot of rajas, a lot of a dynamic form of it, right? So, Dhyava Prativyo, which means heaven and earth. The heaven and the earth, and indeed all the space in between. Antaram, the distance, this distance is pervaded by you alone. So, somebody may say that, okay, maybe only the sun and the moon and all that is you. But here he's trying to clarify, saying not just that, but also everything in between, all the space in between, they are pervaded by, Vyaptam, pervaded by only you, and is pervaded by you, as are all the directions. Dishashcha sarvaha drashtva. All these are nothing but it's you alone. And drishva adbhutam rupam ugram tava idam, which is by seeing this strange, fearful form of yours. I know Arjuna is saying this. The three worlds are struck with fear. Oh, great. Bhagwan, he's trying to say about how all the three worlds are really enveloped by this great, absolutely brihat form of yours. And so here, he's trying to say the fear is really not actually in the form, but it's just a reaction in Arjuna, who is still in this kind of phenomenal plane of existence, where for us, fear is something that we experience. But do everyone experience a fear? May not be. But here, because Arjuna is still in kind of a human form, he's trying to show that, saying that your form is so huge that it can be a cause of fear, you know. So again, the interesting part which is here is fear can be only when I'm seeing separateness, right? If I feel everything is one, where is a fear? There is no fear in oneness. There's only fear in duality. So here, in some ways, this brings about the finiteness of Arjuna, where he's trying to show, or the human aspect of it. So the entire gap from the earth to the heavens and any intermediate space, all that is nothing but filled by you. So in Vishnu Sahasranam also we have this Bhupada Vyasya Nabir Vitatsaruna Chandra Suryo Chanetre. That so the entire space is the Nabhi. Nabhi means the central portion of the body. So this central portion is what is trying to show here as, what Arjuna is imagining and what Arjuna is seeing, you know, as the body of this. So ekena dishashcha sarve. So ekena means without a second, there is no second thing. Literally everything is pervaded by you. And not only is it pervaded, but in all the directions, north, south, east, west, and then in between all these directions, all this is also uh, all this is being pervaded by you. And idam adbhutam rupam drishva. I'm able to appreciate this wonderful form which was there. Again, Arjuna's saying that, Krishna, don't think that I didn't see you before. I did see you before also, but I want to tell you that now this whole thing is just absolutely wonderful, because earlier I was looking at the entire universe only from where I am, but now I'm looking at the universe as a person. Okay? Because Krishna is now in the form of this entire universe, right? So he's looking at entire world. The whole person has been transformed into a universe. There is no kind of fragmentation which is happening in his mind, right? So that is the whole thing which idam adbhutam rupam ugram lokatrayam and therefore he adds, adbhutam and ugram. It is wonderful, but it is also frightening, you know. So that whole thing is how he is able to see the entire world in Krishna. So here, I think we are already running. Yeah, maybe, I 21 and 22, I was hoping to finish if I didn't have this short problem with the thing. But we'll continue with 21 and 22 next time. That will finish the portion of Arjuna's talk, and we'll continue next week. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Recording to be stopped. Good night.